This is an Alliance podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Florida Culture Podcast, soccer podcast for us, by us. Talking about the intersection of black culture and soccer here. Got your boy here, Greggo here. Got your boy here, TQL on the ones and twos. What's good with you, man?
Chillin'. Happy to be here. Another good day on Tuesday.
I missed you on Saturday, man. I saw just about everybody else but you. That's about it.
I bring the flag with me. I'm not hard to find.
Yeah. I was like, hold up, where's the flag? Like, yeah.
Next time.
But got a special guest with us this week. We talked about it a little bit last week, and now he is here. And of course, now we got even more to talk about now. So, Phillips, Nordecke, what is going on with you, man?
Been a busy couple of awesome week. It's up for months of technology, but I'm excited for where we're going on next fall.
Yeah, man. It's like I said last week, the world was about to end, and then as of today, it looks like, at least for the moment, we got a little bit of a reprieve. So we talk about that later on in the show. Because man, at least the logo lasted longer than the Super League, so there's always that. So, but
did you count hours? Do we have an accurate count? All right, might be the first thing for an intern.
Honestly,
let us know.
With the way that things went last week, I was kind of thinking that it was going to be like a 48-hour thing. Like I said, we made it a week, so it can have that feather in its cap and say, hey, we lasted longer than the Super League. So there you go. But yeah, man, thank you guys for checking us out on your favorite podcast apps: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Audio Boom, iHeartRadio, all of them, and of course on our FTC UTD YouTube channel. So like I said, I was looking for you last week, TK, at the game. Once I got inside, I wasn't as bad. Of course, last week we had Tanner on the show, and we were like, I don't know. But once I got inside, I guess because it just felt like. It felt like home. It felt like, hey, this is what I normally do. This is hey, I get my hugs. I see my people and everything. Like, it didn't feel, it didn't feel too bad. Like I said, I was a little anxious, just initially, but eventually, it all went away, man. I didn't realize that our game was the largest capacity since the shutdown.
Absolutely.
40,000.
That's why they did it. They had to, pull it out. Like I said last week, they had to Louis Van Gaal it.
Yeah, 40,116 showed up. Like I said, it wasn't an absolute sellout. But like I said, it was still plenty full, more than enough people. Some people had their mask on. Some people, still had it up. I have mine available too, like I said, because when I was walking around, that's when I would typically have it on. But for the most part, it wasn't too bad. Like I said, I'll take it. But then, Ty, did you see my boys at the end of the game on Saturday, man? Because honestly, the way things were going, I wasn't sure if we were going to get the result. And man, that header, man. I can't really describe to you just the eruption in the stadium when Marino got that goal in the 93rd minute. That's the kind of shit that I was like, yeah, y'all need to be here for this. So you said you watched the games. What was how did it pick up to you watching on TV?
So obviously it was nice to turn on TV and see atmosphere again.
Mm-hmm.
That was as much as you felt I'm home. I was in the house being nature's healing. Atlanta fans are back. The place looks alive. For me, the only thing that doesn't feel right is just the team hasn't found its mojo yet. I know I have no room to talk.
Yeah, right.
Like, it just
no, I mean, truth is truth. Truth is truth. So, yeah.
It just doesn't seem like an Atlanta United team. That moment at the end, like, brings to, like, memory of, like, some of the moments I've seen at Mercedes-Benz. But, like, throughout the game, I'm still not convinced. I think it's going to take for the boys to buy in to his new system, to the players that we're seeing on the field. I still think you guys heavily rely on Joseph. I liked it when you guys had Diaba and Almiron and Assad, like, running around. Everybody on the team was a threat. But it feels like right now, like, you guys are very toothless. Oh, he's saying, cut it. What's he saying?
Honestly, I think you're right. I mean, it's something that we talked about on the show before. You know, like, aside from Joseph and Barco, we're still trying to figure out, like, who else can we rely on to get goals. And, you know, as Joseph still tries to, you know, get back in form, it's like he had, I think, about 3 or 4 chances, and they just weren't going off the way that I think that probably he wanted to. And, you know, that's something that for probably his standard he's frustrated with. And then probably just from what we all expect as fans, is like, yeah, like, we want to see everything, you know, get back to what it once was. Of course, you see right here, like, that was us. Like, we showed up and showed out, but even had the roof out of that, and it wasn't too uncomfortable. But yeah, man, it was like that. It felt like that goal at the end made it all work. I would have hated to see us just draw that game and it was okay. I guess that's it. I guess we gotta go home now.
No, you don't need that.
But
since you weren't there, Tika, did you at least watch it on TV?
Yeah, man. Actually, that was the thing. I thought. Actually, I got to be totally truthful. Actually, let me start from the beginning because I watched the match from home. I couldn't make it this weekend, but it was really good. I thought we were kind of developing our literacy with another, if you will, or getting more fluent. I guess is a better way to say that. And so the team, they just need more time to bed in, essentially. And then they can all see how, you know, to get a little bit more linked in training and see to actually do that on the pitch. So that's a first. Second, I think we are lacking in how we attack. We are barely even creating chances, to be totally honest. If I'm going to be, like, critical about it, which is kind of my angle. So, yeah, we're not really creating chances the way that we need to if we're going to kind of reclaim our status and essentially bounce back from what was a really bad season last year. We kind of set a standard, and along with that standard is how, for MLS, Atlanta represents the biggest capacity that they have available. So I think as far as the brand is even concerned, and I've kind of segued here, but it was important for Atlanta to be open and on national TV in the middle of a Saturday for MLS to kind of present that back to the world and say, hey, this is where we're at. And we're going to show you what it looks like at our biggest stadium. So, two things is what I picked up on. But and to end, I got disheartened because I was just so upset at the end of the match, getting into like the 80th minute. So I kind of walked off. But I'm not sure if I actually had dad duty or something, but I didn't actually see the goal that was scored. So I missed that. But it looks like a joyous moment for Mourinho. I guess he scored, right? I didn't even check the stats, to be fair.
Yeah, it was Moreno who got the goal. Moreno got the cross. I mean,
Moreno. Oh, that's good because man, I was getting to a point where, like, I got time for Moreno because he, as a player, represents what Atlanta needs to create more chances, in my opinion. And I think that is going to be players that are going to attack defenders head on, like take them on. That's always kind of been my philosophy and thinking as a player. And as if I ever would go into management, I want players who are going to attack, and then I want players who are going to run from the midfield. So I mean, this is all very basic shit at the end of the day, but if we can have that, Mourinho has that in his locker. He just needs to kind of clean some up shit. He gives away the ball a little too much for me.
You know, there was one goal, I'm sorry, not one goal, one save from Guzan that, yeah, like every so often it's like he still reminds you like who he is. It's like, okay, like, you know, like he still got it every so often, but yeah, like, I mean, like the defense, the back line definitely, you know, held on, because Montreal is definitely a tough team. And I think that, you know, I think just like if you look at the standings right now in the East, even though it's still early on, like right now it's still pretty packed. And like we jumped from like, I think like from 8th to 4th, I believe. And yeah, like there's not much separation right now. And you know, it's definitely, I think a lot of teams are trying to work their way, one in the form, one in the fitness, and hopefully they get to a place of where, you know, they get some momentum, because like it doesn't take much, you know, just to kind of get on the right streak. And before I get on your guys' Ty, because like there actually was one. Speaking of stadium environments and everything, upstate, up in downstate, up in Cincy, they opened up their new stadium on Sunday against Inter Miami. Actually, really exciting game. They Miami went up 2-0. Cincinnati came back, tied it up within 2 or 3 minutes. Miami came right back in and scored the game winner from Higuain and Gonzalo, not Federico.
Yes.
And,
you know what's crazy on that too? I have to say this. I've been wanting to say this so publicly. What's crazy to me is that man is producing, but he looks so out of shape. Like he looks out of shape, and he's not running. So like, imagine once he like gets back in shape. He's always been a top. Honestly, for me, a top 10 pure finisher when he was at the top of the game. But the fact that he's contributing and he literally looks like that dude on your like Saturday league that just walks around until the moment. Does that make any sense? Pipa runs more than Gonzalo does. Pipa's just everywhere.
That's true.
And
That's true.
Gonzalo's just like, and he wasn't that player at like Juventus or even Argentina. He's just out of shape. So imagine him coming back.
Yeah,
that would be fun. It would be fun.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the stadium itself? Because I didn't realize that they were opening before y'all were, and I was like, damn, like. But it is cool to like kind of see like, you know, the state of Ohio having their two teams opening up new stadiums this year. So that part's cool. But yeah, I definitely hear what you're coming from with Higuain. And like, yeah, especially when both him and his brother on the pitch at the same time, it's like, yeah, like you just look like you're getting schooled by two old dudes. Especially now they're both bald and they got the beard going on. It's like, yeah, like you just got schooled by some like 50-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly, man. You feel like you're at the beach and you got hustled.
Yeah.
By the vendor. Motherfucker. Greggo, I do have a question.
What's up?
Did you eat at the stadium? Were you?
Yes.
Was it COVID and comfortable?
I mean, it was almost like a regular game day. So, like aside from like the mask, it was like nothing had really happened. Quick note on that, real quick. As of yesterday, only 37% of the population or of adult population has been vaccinated. Go get your shots, y'all. Don't be out here faking the funk. Take like it's cool to take off your mask now. Like, no, go get your shots first and then take off your mask. That's the idea.
Herd immunity does not work if the herd is not immune. Exactly.
Go get your shots and then take off your mask.
Yes.
Do that for the culture real quick. But yeah, I actually I would. I was a little hungry, but there was like this one mac and cheese spot that had like It's like barbecue chicken and mac and cheese. Like, yeah, I tore that shit up. Like
At the stadium?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Our selection is tough. Our selection is tough.
I was going to ask one secondary, a follow-up rather. Is the moment
have they indulged yet as far as like what selection will be there at the new stadium?
At Crew Stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be fire. I mean, I can dive into that when we talk rebrand and stuff, because there's so much that it all ties together. But yeah, it will be. I'm going to assume like on par with the good that you've got going on. Like, it's not going to be stadium food. I'm really excited about the food experience.
Cool.
Yes,
cool.
Food is an experience. Well said.
Yeah. So y'all open up on July 4th, correct?
July 4th weekend, so July 3rd. That's when we do our red, white, and blue type of thing, and all the activities will be done there.
Yeah, Greggo, I bet they get mobile ordering before we do.
Technically, we do. We just don't have a whole lot of selections.
Audible T-Select. I want the closed captions to say that.
But yeah, like, because I actually did try to do that on Saturday. And it's like you only had like 3 spots. I'm like, y'all have way more than 3 spots to work with, so
for real,
y'all need to go ahead and hook that up. But we nice segue, Ty. Let's get up into it, man, because the
shenanigans.
So let's start here. Last Monday, of course, over the weekend before last, everything started kind of coming out that the Crew was going to rebrand to Columbus SC. This was the logo that was that was unveiled and everything on last Monday. And I know I have my views as an outsider and whatnot, but like, tell us why it just was not flying locally. What you got?
All right. So for the first part is two-pronged answer to why it didn't fly. The number one answer was they took away our identity, which is we are the Crew. Everyone knows that since day one. Even when we changed, like, from the hard hat guys to this, we still were the Crew. Like, no one calls us like Columbus. Generally, it's the Crew.
Right.
So that was the first thing. People were very upset about that. Second, people have to remember, and we actually said this in our meeting, that the wounds are still fresh with our fan group of like having ownership say one thing and do another. So when you think about, we were told the team was never going to leave, then it almost left. It was pretty much leaving. It was. So having to go through that, then to hear, oh, we're not ever going to change the name. We're not changing the look, and then we have this happen. And it wasn't like they told us, or it just happened. Those two things combined created a like fury and disappointment that I honestly think almost rivaled Save the Crew. My personal feelings were actually very different than, I'll say, like, a lot of the fans were just mad about the identity. I was upset because I saw the team with all this amazing momentum. We've got this new stadium, new training facility. We've got a championship-winning team, and all this stuff that's never been happening in Columbus, and then you needlessly put in something that, like, brought it to, like, a standstill. Like, you didn't need to do this. Rebrands happen when something's broken. This wasn't broken. So why did you do that? And why did you put all this, like, I don't know, roadblocks and messiness in front of you? You didn't need it. You just didn't need it. That's where the anger comes from.
You know, like, when I first saw the logo, I was just like, seen better, seen worse. Mm-hmm. But then, like, for those of y'all that follow MLS, they had their projects that just came out this past weekend, and the Crew hadn't put the new logo on the kit yet, but they did have it on the Pride jersey. Yep. And like the application of it, I was like, this looks awful. This looks so bad. And then of course we got this picture here from the NYCFC scoreboard, and it's like, yeah, like this doesn't work. Like, and it's funny because, of course, I have the designer in me is like, I've always wanted to see a Columbus logo that uses the Ohio state flag as a frame. Like, because that's basically what that's what the shape is of the Ohio State frame. For those of y'all who need reference, so because it leads to a lot of potential. But then I was like, okay, all you have is just this C and the triangle in the corner. And I'm like, there's so much more you could have done with that. Y'all just basically just wasted all that space.
Yeah. And
that just, the designer in me is like, y'all, how do y'all fuck this thing up like that bad? Because the funny thing about it was that, to me, I was like, this would be something that you would put like on like the jock tag down on the corner of your jersey down at the bottom. Like, that's about it. Like, this is not something that you would put right here. You'd be like, okay, I'm proud of this right here. This is who I rep. This is who I represent. Like, no, that just does not do it. And then, like I said, I saw the Pride jersey. Of course, they had everything all spelled out, Columbus, SC. I was like, y'all can't even do that, right? Like, because like, even if you said, okay, let's keep this, it's only can be the flag. That's it. That's really it. Don't make this worse than what it already is. But yeah, like I think that just removing the crew from the identity, of course, they try to sugarcoat and say like, hey, we're still the crew. We're just not the crew with the name, even though we still go by the crew. And I'm like, yeah, y'all really are not helping this like at all whatsoever.
Because even like from a marketing standpoint, why would you provide your customer like 3 different ways to ingest it when right now, if you just have one message, it will come off as like concise, but it muddied the waters to almost it made you feel like they didn't know what they're. I understood the whole this is our nickname thing, but it just didn't work. And you have this like logo that doesn't seem very Columbus. It just doesn't seem that.
They even, like I said, aside from the state flag frame, there's really not a lot of character to it. And I was like, yeah, like this is not working here like at all. And of course, I've gotten into it with people here that are from Ohio and Columbus, and of course, I've seen the feedback up there, and I'm just like, yeah, like, because people want to compare it to Chicago, and I'm like, no, it's not quite that bad. It's close, but it's not quite. And the reason being is that and of course, we'll show it in a little bit. Like, I don't even think Chicago has fully explained that flame star thing at all.
Mm-hmm. And
if nothing else, you can at least say, okay, the C is legible. You know what it represents. It's just that it's boring as fuck. It's really that simple. It's like it's very uninspiring. That's one of those design lingos that you hear. It's like there's nothing about this that you would find inspiring, something that you would necessarily be proud of. Say, hey, I want to put it right here. I'll put it down here, not right here. That's just no.
That's the other frustrating part is that it wasn't like they came from like a broken brand or a horrible logo.
Yeah.
Literally, we're going head to head with the best one.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go, head to head, the best, this isn't anything, you have to execute. Execution failed all across the board. And that makes it look even worse because now standing up on its quote unquote own, it has no life, it has no culture, and you have all the feelings of trepidation and betrayal behind it. It just doesn't make you feel good. So that's why, like, where we've fallen, I'm happy with. I've said this a couple of times. The logo doesn't necessarily, for me personally, it doesn't affect how I ingest the team, where I'm watching the team. It doesn't change that.
Right.
But for me, I also understand the connection that it shares with the fans, and souring that connection is something that our team cannot afford to do. It just can't. So I was like, I'm so glad that they came together for a solution with this. And we'll have to dive into that. Like, I want to see what you guys' thoughts are. I'll explain like why I'm happy with it, even though I will say I like the old press, but I'm happy with what we have.
You know what the funny thing there is that, of course, is well documented as far as like the previous owner and him trying to take the crew away from Columbus and everything. It says a lot that the logo that he came up with is the one that's like, hey, this is the one good thing that you did. Aside from leaving, this is the one good thing that you did. And it's definitely I think even like with the compromise that ultimately came, it's like I question like how long that's going to stay. You've been quiet down there, TK. Like, what were your thoughts when you first saw the logo?
Honestly, it's just I thought it was just an excuse. They won the MLS Cup last year, and so it's just like, why not? From a I'm wealthy and in charge of this brand perspective, because why wouldn't you want to consistently reinvent yourself to appear on the cutting edge, to appear the newest, to have the most shine, or something of that effect, essentially. So it's like you have all the clubs that are joining every year with like Austin. So essentially, they it's like not really stealing a little bit of Austin shine, because that's been something that's obviously predated this for a couple of years now. The build up for that, or for this season for them, and who else this year? Who's on the team?
No, it's just Austin.
Is it just? Oh, that's right. Because they
next year.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, COVID. So I think that was just kind of my take on it, or that was me thinking in the back of my head, like, okay, this is just, we want to be a little, we just want the most stuff. We want to come out with a little rebrand or a little secondary, tertiary logo, even though they chose to make this the primary, which clearly was a mistake. The backlash is where we're at with that.
I will say that, and it's a credit to, obviously the Columbus fan base being what it is, having gone through the whole Save the Crew movement and having that type of organization to really force this type of retreat, compromise so quickly, because like we saw past instances with Chicago. It took them a year to kind of realize, okay, yeah, this is a bad move, and we're still waiting on to see what might happen with Montreal, because there's a lot of backlash with their new logo and name change, and like you guys already been through the trenches, so it's like, yeah, like we can mount up and get this done one way or another. I did find it kind of weird. I think it was like that Sunday before the logo came out, people were talking about like, hey, do not attack the front office. Don't attack the execs. Just like don't go Old Trafford on us. Just hey, we'll get this done.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Montreal hasn't said anything. I'm pretty sure they said they were getting vandalized. That was happening. So that was kind of like the preemptive thing. I think there were a couple of fans that were like harassing people online, and that's not how you facilitate change generally. There's got to be some cooler heads in the room, and to be honest, the way things happen to get to that point, I think only happened because there were cooler heads that existed. I don't think that right now Montreal, they may not be in a space where they can get cooler heads to come to the table. It's right now just pure fury. But again, we've been there, done that. We have seen the worst of what MLS can do, and we stayed strong through that. We stayed professional, and so when the time came, we knew we had to meet them with that same professionalism that got us to keep the team here. We had to do that same thing, and that's why we're at where we're at today.
Yeah. So, yeah, here is the new logo. for the Columbus Crew. Of course, y'all actually managed to get the SC dropped off, so it's just back to what it had originally, just Columbus Crew. And you got rid of the little triangle thing. And,
man, if I could refute that, this is not the new logo. This is
the compromise.
I don't even know if this is compromise. This is like we fucked up. This is the fix.
I mean, I'll say this because I feel like, especially with how they fix it, I'm just like, this can't be what y'all doing with for like the next 15, 30 years. Like there's going to have to be some type of new redesign in about 3 or 4 years, and we go, okay, yeah, this is it. We ain't doing shit else until the Haslams die or something else happens. This is like, because this is
just
okay.
a fix. This is just a fix.
So
say it.
I have to speak to it now at this point. So this is what they want. This is what they want. This was they were actually genuinely, and I say this because like from the outside looking in, it makes sense that everyone was upset, right? They were genuinely surprised people didn't like it. That's because it was made in the vacuum and behind, and not taking the public into consideration. But they genuinely like this, and they are genuinely going to ride it.
Zero transparency.
Yeah, so for me, the process was the thing that irked me the most.
Yeah,
but I was like, you can do what you want. It's your team, but you need to remember like who your fan base is. We've been through this. You don't want to make them upset, but you also don't want to take away the identity. So for us, we agreed when we went into the meeting, which to give feedback there. The meeting actually came around really quickly. It wasn't like Nordecke and fans meeting like the marketing team or meeting like the president team. We actually did sit down with D. Haslam, who was the owner, the main owner, JW, and Dr. P, and then the team president and chief business officer. So it was the people who could make the decisions in that. Like while we were there, decisions were literally being made. They were upfront with like, we messed up, especially on process. We messed up with the delivery. We missed. But they also like explained that, which I got this. This was them wanting to make their own mark on the team. Like they wanted to change.
That part I actually do understand because especially with, going into a new stadium, like anyone that follows, all the other sports here, of course, this is something that's kind of typical in the other sports where like you move into a new stadium, you might get new uniforms, you might get a new logo, kind of like, fresh coat of paint and everything. So like that part I understood. I just think that especially with given the lead time that was there between, building the new stadium and getting that momentum together, it's like, like there should, like you said, that the process that was involved with creating that new mark, obviously it didn't involve y'all as nearly as much as it should have. And basically like what came about in the process was like, like this ain't it.
Yeah. So I think when we went into the game with like our big thing was we wanted to leave that room with the crew being part of the name. That was our big thing. And I think the best thing they could have done was to take that feedback before we got in the room and came to us. But that was their first olive branch. They're like, "Can we show you one thing?" We're like, "Sure." First thing they show us is the team name. You guys just want the Columbus Crew. We're like, "Yeah." It was even their idea to drop off SC, and I get that for two reasons. Like, number one, that helps them remove one of the last things of old ownership, which because they brought in SC,
right?
It also appeases to the fans. People feel hurt because they didn't like SC in the first place. Like I didn't care, but like about SC in the first place. But
that's some MLS shit. Like,
that's what. But like that makes us feel hurt. And then after that, we got to see like 3 different versions of the logo, and I understood going into it. There was no way we were going to see a logo change because of how much they had sunk into it before. Because we're finding out about it right before they launch it, right? Mm-hmm. This isn't like preliminary, like, oh, we want to make orders for merch. Right. We want to do stuff for stadium signage. They have already done this.
Right.
They've already ordered signage for the stadium. They've ordered signage for the training center, like our brand new training center we're opening. Mm-hmm. They ordered all this merch. It was there. So, like, either way, they're going to eat something. And it's like, how do they avoid eating as much? So they had to find out a way to make this work for us. And personally, like, I saw, like, all three versions of what this logo could look like. This logo here felt like, yes, even though it's a miss that you brought on yourself because of the non-engagement, this made it feel like our identity was at least still in it.
Okay.
And began me bringing number one, the crew, bringing 96 back into it, harkening to the our first year. It just felt like, okay, you missed. And I said, and that's on you. I actually, I told them at the end of the day, like, I see that, all these machines are ran by humans, and humans do make mistakes. And this is one. And they owned it. And we're just like, how can we help fix it? And within the resources and the moment we have here, this is what we can do. And we all got to, like, kind of go back and forth on, like, which elements we liked and we didn't. This is where we fell, and I'm okay with it. I also am a big person that loves seeing branding as a whole entire package. So I don't want to just see it here. I want to see it on jersey. I want to see it in media. I want to see it what it looks like on TV production. I want to see what it looks like physically and on tables and signage. The way that the world that they created for this brand to grow and evolve, it makes sense. Still thinks it could have been executed better, but it does make sense. I saw what it looks like on next year's jerseys. Mm-hmm. It pops. I think that I'm not saying people are going to forgive them, but it works with where it's going.
It's a process.
Yeah. No one likes change. There's always a big pushback, but I think this is the olive branch that a lot of us needed, and us having our name back. That's what we talk about. We talk about going to the crew. We talk about the crew players. That helped bring it back a lot more. Like, we're crew fans. We're not Columbus fans. We're not SC fans. We're crew fans. And that was a big deal for us.
That's what's up, man. Yeah.
I'm happy with it.
I mean, like I said, when I look at it from, I try to take out as much emotion as I can and just look at it from just a straight aesthetic point of view. Like I said, there's definitely potential there. The one thing that I know that I'm going to miss from the last crest was, of course, the stripes and the checks. I'm like, that just brought it all together. And I probably said, like, if there was a way, like I said, within that negative space in the C, figure something out, put that back up in there. Like I said, there's potential here. It's kind of like how, like, we saw, like, the Atlanta home jersey, like you saw all that black and you're just like, okay, like, yeah, it's just black. I'm like, no, like, there's potential here. Like, there's shit that you can actually work with here. Just a matter of, putting your minds together and creating something. But and like I said, like, with the state flag frame, I love that. Actually, there's a logo that I use and Pro Evolution Soccer that actually has that same frame. And I'm like, yeah, like, there's people don't realize, like, how much potential there is just with that. Like, and of course, just getting away from the circle logo, especially when there's so many teams in MLS that have that. I'm like, yeah, that in itself gives y'all some individuality that a lot of teams don't have right now. That part I do like. So, like I said, I'm glad that y'all at least got the name back. And it's like, because, like, there's been so many teams lately that's been rebranding. We got the Dynamo that did theirs. Like, I actually kind of like this one because the original one looked like some MS Paint looking shit, and I was like I understand.
This is very MLS 1.0.
I guess.
I would say so.
But, like, I get the vibes of it because it's like it's supposed to be like a branding iron, and of course Texas is all about steers and cows and branding and shit. Like, of course of course we talked about it back there in the kit review episode. Like, their kit, they dropped the ball on that one. But like, there's so much potential with this crest that, I'm like, hopefully that they get things right going forward, because I would love to see just the interlock used as the jersey crest and just make that work. But, like, there's from the hex frame to the Thunderbolt, like, there's so much that you can do there that hopefully they get things right. There's probably, like, of the most recent ones, this is probably the one that I like the most. It's just a matter of Houston and Adidas getting their shit together. But
I think that's what you'll see, like, the worlds that they create, like, for the world that Dynamo created, that this brand lives in, even the world that for Columbus Crew that we live in now, we were able to kind of see like where the evolution and what cool things you can do with it. Like we did get to see some of that, and it makes more sense. We get to this stuff though, fire.
The infamous.
I don't know.
Like I said, like they never quite explained the Fire King thing. I don't know, but
it's the lake. It's
supposed to be lakes in the waters and everything. That's what it's
supposed to be. I think the reflection of the fires.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's some abstraction. Like you got to do some mental gymnastics just to do.
That's not mental gymnastics. That's almost as easy as falling over. You just gotta.
You gotta squint real hard.
No, you don't.
Take your glasses off. Be like,
It's not like you're looking for something in the water there. But what they didn't do is really give you. I mean, I get it from like the very logo aspect. It's supposed to just be kind of cut and dry. But if they just give the story or put that out there, like I think that's what it should be, or that it'll come off a little better, rather. But that's what I always took it as. I was like, oh, it's the reflection of the fire. Makes sense.
Of course, they're set to do another redesign going into next year. So if nothing else, these kids that have came out the last 2 years, they're going to be collector's items sooner or later. So,
You think? What's the over 20 on that? What's the over on that?
But then of course the other controversial rebrand this year was Montreal, and it's really unfortunate because I actually like the logo itself. It's just that what I think like with the Crew, you jacked up the whole name to where you just took away their identity just like that, and it's kind of the same thing. Like because I actually have like a concept logo up in here. I'm like, if you just made that Impact Montreal club, you probably aren't getting as much backlash as you're getting, because like you were talking about earlier, Ty, like the Montreal supporters haven't even really been able to talk to on the front office because there's just that much animosity right now.
Yeah,
and nobody wants to be in that type of space where you're just too, angry and mad to come together and try to work things out.
It's funny too, because they even have more history than we do if you really think about it.
Yeah, because they go back to like 93, I believe.
And it's like them and like Sounders, Vancouver, and them. Their history can go back even as far as I think some of the 70s, I think, for Vancouver and that. So you're really stepping in muddy waters by like, there's probably even like local businesses that have built their name around Impact.
Yeah.
Kids and parents, that's all they know. Like you're really messing with history there. And that's why I'm like, who are the groups that they're talking to when they do this? Are they talking to like rival fans? Like, you know what y'all should really do to the Impact? Like,
right,
Toronto.
Right.
It was in Toronto and was like, hey y'all, you're doing great things in Toronto. What can you do for us? Well, you should ask. Fuck that shit up.
No, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that because I saw like it was like a player on the Raptors recently. He was getting ready for a game, like and he had like a whole Montreal Impact kit. I was like, oh no, like what are you doing?
Who's gonna tell him?
It's like no, you can't do that, man. But yeah, like and of course we talked about this during the kid review episode. I'm like, the one thing that bothers me so much about this myself is that not only did they change the logo and the name, it took away the stripes. I was like, that's one of the best things that they had in the whole league. And I'm like, you just basically stripped down everything. Everything's gone. I'm like, that's just and it's so unfortunate. Like I did see, of course, me being the design guy I am, like I did see like some other crests out there that there's people that's out here in the streets make and say like, hey, like, the team should have taught these people and just said, hey, let's try this. Let's try this. Like I saw this one for the Crew. This kind of goes to what I was talking about earlier with using the negative space in the C. You incorporate the stripes and the checks. I'm like, yeah, like there were ways to, make this work to where it doesn't feel so empty.
And that's a prime example of the execution miss. Like, I don't understand why it was taken out of, it wasn't done in Columbus. It wasn't a local brand person. There's a lot of fantastic individuals that can do, professional work. We'll never know the answer to those questions. But yeah, there's definitely opportunities out there. Like in Montreal, there's someone that can do that. It's a Chicago Fire brand. There's people in Chicago that can kill it. Like,
Busting up the seams in Chicago. Like, I actually got one for them too. I got one for Montreal here that I actually love. This is like a perfect compromise. I'm like, yeah, like whoever did this needs to holler at MLS, holler at the Impact, because that works. And of course, it actually still keeps like the M Snowflake. I'm like, yeah, and of course, just keeps the name. I'm like, and brings the stripes back. I'm like, there's things out here that can work, and you don't get all the torches lit up, ready to burn everything down. I'm like, listen to your fans, listen to the supporters out here that, actually, do something for the club and for the organization. I saw this one actually a few months back with for the Fire, and there's so much potential here.
Like, that's the thing that I think hurts my head, where it's just like, you have access to so many good things. How do you miss, really? Like, you have information, you have people. It's hard to. That's why it comes down for me. I can sleep better at night just knowing, like, you know what, they made a mistake. I don't think there's any ill will, any ill intentions, because they obviously want to be successful. It's just
right. Because like we see like artists like Matthew Wolf, who it seems like every time someone messes up, they just like, let's sit in the Wolf, and he ends up cleaning shit up. And I'm like, there's so many artists out here that actually, create, those, like, that's something that honestly I would love for us to do one day, just, create a branding for a team out here in this country and just, send it out to the world. But yeah, like there's so much that can be done. Hopefully, MLS and these team gets off grass and, and explores what's out there. Like, if they're gonna make that step, at least scour what's out here, because there's definitely good shit out here. But
no way you're getting the best if you don't look for the best.
Indeed, because like it's crazy, because like the same people who did the Miami logo that everyone loves, it's the same people who did the Chicago logo, and I'm like, yeah, sometimes it's hit or miss sometimes, and you gotta see what else is out there, because yeah. But we're gonna take a quick break for the cause from our fam over at Protagonist, and after the break, we got to talk about your boys down over there across the water, TK. 'Cause y'all had a weekend. Y'all had a real weekend. But yeah,
wardrobe change.
But yeah, we'll be right
back.
We'll holla at you. And we're back. Oh man, how you like those new kits, TK? They just came out. They came out last week.
Splash, taking the bath. I didn't have much other way to go with that one, but it looked like we were taking a bath, I guess, on the field, man, because it was everything but goals.
I mean, they had the kit unveiled last week. Actually, a really dope presentation video.
Yeah, the video is tight. I appreciate it. I'm actually kind of really bitter right now with Chelsea, for being thoroughly honest. And I want to be truthful with you guys. I'll be, like fake. So yeah, the video was tight. I was disappointed I didn't see Tammy in the advert, man. And I'm like, man, that's not a good sign. I'm worried about my brother. Yeah, I'm worried about my brother, man. That's how they do. They don't want to put you in advertising if the club is not backing you for the next season. They choose wisely on how they do that. Just word to the wise on that one. But we've seen crazier things happen. But yeah, it was still, we can't score a goal, man. We got shut out in both games.
Yeah, because y'all had the FA Cup final on Saturday. You had the women's UEFA Champions Final on Sunday. Everybody's rocking the new kits. Everybody looking fresh and clean. And y'all put a donut in both the games, man. Not one goal. Like, y'all lost to Leicester on Saturday 1-0 off of
Bar.
How do you feel about that goal, man?
Bar.
Because it ricocheted off the Leicester player, and basically went from
Perez,
his leg to his arm. And I mean,
feel my groin.
Tillemans, that was a wonder goal, of course.
Yeah, that was actually a beautiful goal.
Minnie would have got that.
Yeah, people actually. The funny thing, one of the takeaways from Chelsea losing the FA Cup to Leicester is we lost to an honorable team, so I'll give you that. Leicester, a very good team. Brendan Rodgers, full credit to them and what they've done this season. They proved their mental. So hats off to them, first of all, in a sportsmanship manner, if you will, if nothing else. So, I mean, seriously, though. And then I saw James Madison coming on. I was like, yeah, we lost. This match is over. Like, I knew at that point. Because that guy is a mental spark, just a spark in just in general for the team. And, for him to come back from injury and a cup final, the way his importance to that team is, there you go. There you go. So it just kind of goes unsaid, man. I wish we could have got a little bit of luck. It would have been nice if they had called that for a handball, at least to the lead-up of play, and that would have been maybe a turnover. It would have been nice if Mindy was in, but I feel that we did the right thing to play Kepa. I
didn't realize Kepa was so short.
That's the thing, the takeaway. Kepa, everyone realized how short Kepa was after this. They're like, oh man, Kepa's real short. I'm tall with Kepa.
Yeah, because I could have sworn Kepa was at least 6'3". I was like, this dude's. I'm
he's notorious for standing on his tippy toes in pictures. There's a funny thing.
So he does that thing like I see a lot of women do. Like they go on the tippy toes in the pictures.
Well, it's not like he's kind of slick about it, but he does like a little action movement right before say banana. Say just like, that's a half inch right there. Exactly. I'm like, you're filling up the whole screen now. Like, it's a weird, funny thing. But actually, I think we got called out on it for in the socials because Chelsea, they're kind of like pranksters. But it is a decent match. I just wish things could have gone our way. I would have rather have lost this match today. But
you saw, of course, you saw that everybody went back to the old kids. Like, okay, yeah. These kids got a little bit of bad juju here. We got to go ahead and go back.
Well, that's the whole thing too. So with the kids, people may not realize it, or maybe people do. I don't know. But if you don't, a lot of times
if you watch this on YouTube, like I said, we're showing all this stuff. So yeah, make sure if you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube, and you can see all this good stuff. You see all the Team Chocolate over here this week. Man.
Absolutely, love the chocolate faces. And then you can also see what the teams will do is for cup finals. It's kind of the thing now. They will embroider the like an FA Cup or whatever the competition is, and the team who are in the final. So Chelsea versus Leicester, whoever the home side is. But that's all there, and that's kind of like if you can get a player-worn version of that jersey or kit, then that's kind of a collectible. So what they'll do is they'll a lot of times auction them off to the local hospitals. They'll sell them and then, donate the money to a good cause, things of that nature. I've got one from an FA Cup that we won with Hazard on it. So it's just one of those things that maybe didn't know, but it's cool. And that's another reason that they use the new kits is that they can kind of,
I remember that time they won. They wore the new kits in the 2008 Champions League final, and John Terry slipped on the ass and blew it for y'all, man.
Yeah, I remember when it rained, man.
Yeah, speaking of rain, I said in the women's Champions League final, the Chelsea women played Barcelona, and I mean they went to work. I mean they're like, of course, I'm not the greatest women's soccer expert out here. That's we kind of leave that to leave the majority of that to our sisters over at Shea Butter.
Shea Butter.
And but yeah, Barcelona went in the ass. Like that first 40 minutes was clinical.
Honestly, I haven't even watched the highlights because I missed this match being a dad, and I thought I spaced it out to where nap time was just the match, and then hey baby, this is what a role model looks like if you want to do that. There's a good role model, women.
He said, "Psych."
Yeah, well, it was good. She slept through the game, or she was up for the game, so I didn't see it. And then, all I saw was text about how the team was being destroyed, and it was just like, oh man, this is bad. This is really bad.
Did you catch on either game, Ty?
I watched the FA Cup late game, and then I watched the second half of the Barcelona Chelsea game. And it's for me, I like just Chelsea as a club, not even just the men and women. I think this is still a time of transition and kind of finding your new identity as of right now, because the way those clubs work is they try to keep the same thing model on both sides, right? And I think right now you just bringing in TQL was the best thing you guys could have done, to be honest. And I think when they get both sides, the men and the women, to kind of fall underneath that, both of them bring in the players they want. You guys have what? You guys, the big one on the women's team is Kerr, I think.
Kerr, Penelope. Honestly, Crystal Dunn was on the team at one point in time, dude. It's pretty star-studded.
You get, and that's the thing of Chelsea is you will always have stars, but what's the system that's making it work? So that's what I hope will come forth in the next couple of years for you guys. But yeah, in the women's team, they just ran into a team that's just better. That's just all it was. That was the difference between the FA Cup final for the men and this. Barcelona was just all of them. So
yeah. And if you haven't caught up on the international game, a lot of the Spain national team is definitely all up and through the Barcelona squad. Yeah, so this is once everyone got over the shock of Lyon not making it to the final for the first time in since 1975. This is definitely a squad that was this is our time, because they were just in the final I think 2 years ago. Matter of fact, some of the players on Barcelona made it a point because
they've lost every consecutive final that they've been in the last 4 times, so I'm sure they made it a point.
But Samantha Kerr, apparently she had some type of tweet a couple years ago during the 2019 final, and talk about this wasn't it was basically a blowout, and so when Barcelona came back, of course Kerr is now there as an opponent. It's we're getting in that ass this time, and it's congrats to them. Of course, they're the first club to have both the men's and women's team win the UEFA Champions League. So, after all said and done, Messi was right. The Champions League is come back to Camp Nou. It's just the women that did it. So, that was his promise. So there it is. So,
speak it into existence. I love that.
It's all about the energy. It's all about the energy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what happens next year. There was a certain owner who showed up in the locker room post match.
What?
To congratulate. Well, there's been a
mysterious one showed up.
He was there, Mr. Mysterious himself, and that. It's I feel like he has a yacht that's has a vanishing capabilities, or it's secretly plated with mirrors that can do things. Anyway, I digress. It's filthy rich.
It must be nice.
Yeah, he was there.
It must be nice to be that wealthy. You just I can just show up wherever I want to.
Well, he can't get into certain countries. But I don't know, man. I think the women will be back next season. That was what they told Roman Abramovich, the owner of Chelsea Football Club. So we'll see how this all works out. The women went 32 matches unbeaten early this year, and then they lost to Brighton. And then they went unbeaten until they lost to Bayern to get into this final. And then they lost emphatically to Barcelona. So it is what it is, but I think we have maybe a rematch next year because that could happen with the women's. Maybe. We'll see. Because they're at the minimum, they're going to get a pass into the group stage. So we're already that far, and into the future. So we'll see how it all pans out.
I mean, it's the season's about to wrap up for most of Europe this coming week, and of course the Champions League final is the weekend after next. Next week, so we're gonna do what we tried to do last year, and have a Chelsea fan not named TK, and
I was just
you were already here, so
I'm just saying. Thank you for saying that. I was just pointing out that the women won the treble this year, though. It would have been the quadruple. So in hindsight, I guess it's okay. Messi gets to fulfill his promise. Barcelona doesn't explode. It's really Chelsea did the world a favor.
They just got a loan today, so Barcelona try to keep them lights on. So.
Hey, bro, a loan. They're gonna turn into United real fast. We'll see how this works.
Try to flip that real quick, like let me turn this to like $300 million real quick. So
they should just buy crypto. Honestly, they're smart.
Hey,
there it is.
Another conversation. Anyway,
but yeah, man, it's I actually do have an update for you guys. Everyone who ordered the home team scarves course, it's actually here now. There we go. Yes, the home team scarf that everyone ordered is in the house. It's on the rack, and everyone that made orders, actually, I mailed everything out today, so I should be getting everything.
Tracking is live.
Yes. And we do have some extras, like let's see what we got here. And so yeah,
popcorn
definitely
popcorn sound effects.
So probably like next week we will put a link up to like I said, get some extras if you didn't get in already. Hit us up at ftcutd.myshopify.com, and of course,
are they going to be on the site a limited amount of time, or how are we doing this? We didn't
pretty much until they run out. Until they run out. So
all right,
it's only
limited supply.
There's definitely a limited supply, and these are not easy because they came from. Shout out to our guys at Die Hard for making this happen. They ship out from Turkey, so it's not an easy process. So you gotta make sure.
Are we charging customs for that?
It can't. I don't know, man.
We'll talk about this.
But yeah, man. Of course, we made our debuts at the stadium last on Saturday and everything. So, but yeah, man. Hopefully, everyone.
It looks like right above my seat.
Yeah. Shout out to Rashad for getting that picture at the stadium and everything. And yeah, man. We're they came out. Honestly, they came out incredible. And like I said, thank you guys to Gonzalo and David at Die Hard for making this happen. Like I said, hopefully we can do another one pretty soon, man. And of course, for everything else, of course, our name sets, T-shirts, and all that jazz. Of course, we'll go up to ftcutd.myshopify.com, and just get us and everything. Shout out to our homegirl out in LA, Leslie Chavez. She took this picture here at the Galaxy game this past weekend. Hopefully it's not too hot out there, because I was like, "Oh, that's a hoodie, man." Like I don't know how hot it is out in LA right now, but
hey, man.
So we do have T-shirt versions of the Legends shirt, so you don't have to burn up.
It don't matter. No, we sweating it, man. We're have to put that on the shirt eventually. We're just gonna sweat it.
But yeah, man, whoever's out here rocking the merch, definitely should have shout out on social medias at FTC, UTD, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all that stuff. And but yeah, man, let's hop up in this 2 up and 2 downsies. TK, what you got?
was a mute fan. I just have it off mute. I muted it for everyone in the car. This week it's been kind to me, but still got some stuff going on. So I guess we're starting with the down. Some medical issues. Just trying to search for answers, and really hoping to find that soon. So just moment of silence. Let those answers come to me, however far they are. Just be on your way. Asking for good vibes. Listen, up is that my wife Katie will be vaccinated soon, so we are preparing to hopefully re-engage socially a little bit more. So that'll be a good thing. It'll be a good thing to kind of start doing things with friends, and maybe you'll catch us at the bins in a couple of weeks, or probably won't be a couple of weeks. To be honest, but
hold on, though. The Champions League final is the same time as the game that day.
They always do that, man. They're gonna try to get you in the stadium early, make an event out of it.
I don't see Darren Neal showing a City and Chelsea game, even if it is a Champions League final.
Ironically enough, that would be the funny part.
As a Spurs guy, I don't know if that one works.
You're right; it probably does not. But I think that maybe it was just being biased, actually. But we'll see. I guess that'll all come to fruition. I think it's just a dollar thing. Even kind of roll back to the Columbus logo. It's about dollars, man. So we'll see. It'll be nice to get back in the world and re-engage with people, do things. So looking forward to, I guess it's another up. Looking forward to a vacation in September. Getting ready to lock those in, book that. So yeah, going to the beach and just be nice to get away with Labor Day. That would be the first time I take my daughter or our daughter to the beach. So yeah, just look forward to making some memories. And keep it at that. 2 up, 1 down. Pass it off.
Cool. Ready to give us a shot, Ty?
Yeah, 2 ups and 2 downs, right? Or is it 2 up, 1 down?
Hey, whatever you got. Whatever you got.
2 ups and 2 downs, I guess. 2 downs, I'll go first. Just this week has just been a lot with the rebranding and being a part of the process. And emotionals, just ridiculousness. So we'll let that go, be out there. And then sounds silly. My parents are like remodeling their house, and it's like somehow become the most dramatic thing ever. It shouldn't be that dramatic. It's been fun.
Are they making it dramatic, or just how it is?
They're making it.
I know how you feel, man. My parents are doing the shed, and I'm like, where's the point? Do I need to get involved?
I'm just like, why does my opinion matter so much? I don't live here. They're like, well, you need to tell us. I'm like, buy a new house. If that's true, that's my opinion. But no, I love them. They're making it work. It just makes me laugh, the journey they're taking to get there. 2 ups, though. 2 ups. I will be hopefully going to my first soccer game in person in over a year, which will hopefully be our next home game. I think we play Toronto. Either Toronto or Chicago. I think it's Toronto. Excited about that. And then also excited to get back on the road, catch some away games. I'm going to be a couple planned. I should be actually in you guys' city, doing some stuff with you guys. And I think it's August. I know we just switched around some days.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're getting something cooking now for August. So yeah, definitely I'm looking forward to that trip. So
I got some Texas trips as well. I'm actually trying to be at the Austin Crew game. Also, like
that's gonna be interesting.
That's gonna be even just the food inspired.
Spicy.
Yeah, if you can get to Texas and get some barbecue and get back on the plane, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I love Texas, so I like Austin.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm a big fan.
So I'm excited about those. I haven't got them confirmed, locked all the way in yet, but they are in the works. And then my other up will be. Wait, that was both my ups? No, that was it. I got so lost in that. No, that was both it. Both soccer related, man.
Hey, sometimes it happens that way, man. Let me wrap this up real quick. I do have a quick Coach Tony special up. This past weekend, Chris Webber was elected into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Of course, he was a member of the famous Fab Five at Michigan, Tony's beloved school. And for the longest time, there was beef within the Fab Five, especially between Chris Webber and Jalen Rose. And they had their first on-camera interview, I think, in at least a good 20 years, I believe.
Did they squash the beef?
I think so. It sounded pretty squashed. I think between this and then also Jalen Rose's mother passing away back earlier in the year from cancer, I think it definitely went a long way as far as just thawing, that coldness and everything. And it definitely sounded like the love was there. And so hopefully, they're able to bring the energy, together again. And hopefully, it does bring good vibes to the Michigan program, of course, with Juwan Howard being the head coach there. So that's a Coach Tony special for him. As far as for me, I've been getting so much energy the past couple of days from Kwame Brown and just his rants on Instagram. Kwame Brown was a player, NBA player who came out of high school. I think from here in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, and just pretty much a bust. And there's a podcast Up in Smoke with Matt Barnes and Jackson. They had Gilbert Arenas on the show a couple days ago, and just like they were just clowning him all kinds of hard. And for someone that we haven't heard from in forever, he was clapping back with the fierceness and give me all the Leonard Washington vibes. If you know, you know. That was just absolutely hysterical. And yeah, if you haven't done so, just Google Kwame Brown. Trust me, it's there. You'll love it. It's absolutely amazing. Shout out to Marshall and Santa Clara for winning the men's and women's college cups this past weekend. Marshall being their first time ever winning. They beat perennial powerhouse Indiana in the final. I know. Shout out to them. Santa Clara, I'm not sure how many they've won because I kept confusing them for Stanford for some reason. That was because they got the same colors and everything. But yeah, definitely shout out to them. I really don't have any downs. It's been a cool week. It's definitely great. Shout out to Tanner for kind of pushing me off the ledge and getting me out there in the streets on Saturday.
Did you see Tanner?
Yeah. Yeah, he was we were in the same row in the supporter section. So it was definitely worked out. Definitely good vibes at the game. Surprisingly, people were happy to see me. I never know what to expect when I'm at games. I'm just like, hey, I know everybody, so it's some people are cool with me, some people are not. I'm like, hey, I'm just over here being black. I don't know what else to be. So it is what it is. But yeah, man, it's we got Seattle this weekend, and that should be. I am very interested in seeing how that game goes because, of course, Seattle is one of the best teams in the league, and I definitely want to see where we gauge up against them.
Hope they don't get right off the field.
I mean, if we do, we at least know that hey, we got how much more work we have to do to get back to that level. But
we know how much work we have to do. When we get to a point where we're scoring 3-4 goals a game at home, then that is the Atlanta United that everyone is familiar with. True,
and even if we don't get back to there, but at least if we at least get back winning, I think that'll be at least a step in the right direction. But
if we're not scoring the amount of goals, then it's got to be. Yeah, you're right. We need to win, and we need to at least create more chances so that we see that it's just we're a striker away, a Joseph away, and maybe he'll come to fruition too sooner than later.
And then this week, the crew got they go over to the Bronx, head over to NYCFC. How you feeling about that game, man?
I just told this podcast earlier. I think 2-2 draw because we've had the longest schedule these last couple of weeks. We had Champions League, and I think at one point it was like 6 games in 3 weeks, something like that. It was like
yeah.
And we have a lot of injuries. Everybody's tired. I mean, our midfield is thin now. We were supposed to we had all this depth, right? And then all the depth got hurt.
Yeah,
so like
that. That's the thing that kills me about how they currently have Champions League. And I'm like, it'd be one thing if we are going through the group stage right now and people had a way to kind of ease their way into the schedule, but you're throwing everyone right into the knockout stages, and you need everyone basically there. It's you're not ready to be right there 100% sharp right away, and and that's how you end up with those injuries because not everyone's 100% fit and 100% ready. We're talking about Higuain, you basically are dealing with guys who just for a lot of guys they haven't played a competitive game since last October, so it's a lot. So
players that people are playing against mid-season.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think 2-2. We'll get tired. I told him I think I can see New York scoring first, and us scoring 2, feeling good about ourselves, and just being tired.
Don't be like Cincy. It's you catch up and then you just blow one, man. But
Cincinnati does this they have their own brand of soccer. And it's called not good. And that's how it works.
That's tough. That is tough right there.
Hey, but sometimes it's real though. That's
very much so.
But yeah, man, I definitely appreciate you coming on. So definitely giving us your perspective on the rebrand and rebrand, and definitely appreciate everything that you're doing with the 2 Cents crew. Where could they find you on the socials, man?
On Instagram, I'm pretty active on there. It's just Phillips 7, and Twitter is Chai Tea Addict. I'm gonna probably rework that, but Chai Tea Addict. I've had it for years, and then Facebook, everywhere else is just my name. So, and obviously find us at 2 Cents Sports, 2 Cents FC. Follow us.
Yeah. Shout out to the 2 Cents fam. Of course, everybody in the fam. Shea Butter, Can I Kick It? What's Kaya's show?
Damn it! Now I have that moment. Unscripted.
Yeah, definitely check out the whole fam. Listen to the show. Give them reviews on their platforms. Give us reviews on ours on Apple Podcasts as well as here on YouTube. But as always, you can catch us on the socials at FTC
UTD.
And it's we got a couple weeks before the next home game. Hopefully, TK will be there for that one, and we'll see how it goes. Of course, like I said, y'all got Champions League the same day, so.
Hey man, to be honest, you may not see me in the bench with the flag for sure until after Elijah turns on.
We got a couple weeks for that.
I know.
It's not too far.
A month and a half-ish. Just a little about.
It's around the corner.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Come to the block.
Yeah, I gotta be a dad first.
Come to the block. You got a red light right now, but it's okay. Okay.
This is a red light. Yeah, right. This kid's gonna be walking, bro.
So yeah, man. Thank you guys for listening to us. And until next week. Again, next week is the Champions League final, so we're gonna go up into that. So then for Greggo, TK, Coach, Rashad, Ty, everybody, get your shots. Don't forget that shit. Culture's real. The folks everywhere.